Yes, yes, yes. We're going to be live in a second. Yes, we are actually live. Let's bring that music down. Thank you very much. It's Claude Skills and Plugins. Build once, run consistently every time. And I sounded weird. Build once, run consistently every time. Yes. Let me come on stage. Here we go. Can you see me all right? Hear me okay, everybody? All right. What I'd love to do very quickly, give us a quick hello on the chat so we can see where you're connecting from. Where are you connecting from? Tell us where you're connecting from. Give us a quick hello. We love to know where you're connecting from. I am connecting from Bodrum, south of Turkey. All right. And actually, it's a beautiful, gorgeous weather here. Maybe not even gorgeous, it's too hot, right? It's actually too hot here. How's the weather in India, Anush? Is it hot there as well? Here it's boiling. It's about close to 40 degrees Celsius, but I'm lucky. I'm under the AC, right? I have solar panels, so I don't even have to pay for electricity. Thank you to the sun for giving us energy, right? So soon I'm going to start my own compute of large language models because then I won't even pay for tokens or energy, right? How cool would that be? Wow, I'm loving it. We have Tituba. Hey, how are you? We have Scott from Chicago. Okay, so we have Alicante, Spain. We have Chicago, Scott. We have Mark. Mark, nice to see you here, buddy. UK and Portugal at the same time, right? I think. Where are you right now, right? It's rainy in India. Okay. Hey, everyone. I'm connecting from Turkey as well. Yes, Turkey. Yeah, I shouldn't call it Turkey anymore, right? I get in trouble. The president, I hope you're not watching this, our dear president, right? Because if not, I'll get in trouble. Turkey. So I'm super excited to be here. I hope you are as well. Remember one thing, this is our webinar, guys, right? So in the chat, I'm reading all the chats at the same time. So if you have any questions, you want to see something different, you want me to build something different, right? Or you have a use case in mind, you're having some problems with Claude Skills and Plugins, anything you have, just ping it, put it on the chat, where we love. And I don't even know if I can invite you to stage, but you could just put it on the chat, right? Maybe later on we'll in next webinar we should see if we can invite some people on stage, right? But as you know, our webinars is not slide decks, so there's not going to be no presentation or anything. I'm going to share a screen and we're going to build. Yeah, awesome. Oh, we have also Jakub from Czech Republic. Awesome. Thank you for joining as well, Jakub. All right. Yeah, quite a few familiar faces. Thank you for joining, guys. Well, I hope I'm going to give you a ton of value. So let's just start, right? So first of all, how exciting it is that we're doing this today. You know why? Because literally yesterday, Claude announced a new feature about skills. Has anyone seen that? Right. So let me share my screen right away so that we can get into the demo space right away. So I've opened my demo. I'm opening my Claude. All right. Let me make sure that's seen. All right. So I think you should be able to see my Claude here. Do you see it clearly? Do you want me to make it a bit bigger? Do you want me to make myself a bit smaller? Let us know if you can see, or make your screen bigger, right? So this is my Claude. I'll just close the left tab just to make it a little bit clean for us at the moment, okay? So yesterday, funny enough, we already had this booked in, and Ken's here from Clearwater as well. Big ups, right? Florida, right? So we have people from all around. So yesterday, Claude announced Claude record a skill, right? So you won't find it in chat. First of all, we also got a little update, right? Make sure to update your Claudes. Most of the time, you're going to have a quick update here. And a lot of people ask me, like, Tim, how many times do I have to update it? Yeah, I know. It's almost every day there's a new update, which is awesome, right? Because we get new features, we get new things, and it just gets better and better every day, right? So you should see it from a positive perspective. Let me see if this is better. I think this should be better while we're doing the demo, right? And then when I'm talking, I can get a bit bigger. Yes, Jakub, thank you very much for that. We made it a little bit bigger. We'll make this a bit bigger like this as well. Here we go. I think that should be a bit better. Let me see if I can make this a tiny bit bigger as well. Here we go. I made that tiny bit bigger as well. Cool. So yesterday it was announced, right? So you won't find it in chat. Now we have chat and co-work, which is separated here. If you remember, it used to be on here because now we just have home and code. Claude Code is here. The normal regular home is here. And then now we have chat and co-work separated in this manner. Okay. So how I separate them rapidly is that chat is, where you want to kind of discuss things, brainstorm things, ideation and all that kind of stuff, or research and so on. But the moment you want to get shit done, like I love to say that, if you want to get shit done, it's in co-work, right? So you come to co-work, okay? And now on the plus button, where we typically find our tools, we have a new button, record a skill. Haha, this just came yesterday, right? So you got to make sure to update your clothes, right? I think Max, Teams, Plus plans, Pro plan, they all have it, right? Enterprise, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see Enterprise, but in a Max Plus or Teams plan, you should have it. This is actually a Teams plan. Let's double check if you want very quickly on a personal Max plan. I believe on a personal Max plan, we also have it. Yep, we also have it on a personal Max plan, just FYI. I'll switch back to my Teams plan. You can have two plans. You can have your personal plan and your Teams plan in the same login, right? In the same email address. Sadly, you cannot have it in different email address like you could in ChatGPT, but here you have to have the same email address. Okay, just FYI, right? Because if not, it can be annoying to log out, log back in, and so on. But we got this button, record the skill, which is crazy. We got it yesterday, so I changed a little bit what I'm going to do in a second. Okay. But what you'd love as well, later I'll show you, I have these papers, right, that Claude kind of creates for me. So I even have a preparation for this amazing webinar today, and then I'm going to build this paper skill in a second. Okay, so let's check my notes. So the recorder skill, it got shipped yesterday. Claude learns a task by watching you do it once. Before, you had to really create this skill, right? You had to talk about the skill. You had to you had to kind of go back and forth, and now you can actually just do it. Claude will watch you, right? You can record that skill, and then it's going to become a skill. So you do it once, and then you have it ready for you to go, which is crazy. Imagine, I mean, this is exactly what's happening. Is AI is watching us, learning from us, and doing it for us. Okay, so this is really cool. So it's perfect timing, really. Today you get both ways. I'm going to show you the old school. I love when I say old school, because the school from before yesterday, right? Before yesterday night that I saw the update. And then I'm going to show you the new way as well, right? I did try the new way myself, a while ago this morning, but we'll do it together, right? Let's make mistakes, let's learn from it, and let's build. Okay, so if you want to put anything on the chat, do it. I'm watching the chat in both places, on our restream and on LinkedIn, and YouTube comes in very rapidly anyways. Okay, so we're going to build it by hand. Okay, then I'm going to teach Claude one by demonstration, right, by doing it live. So no safety net really, right? So that's going to be fun. If the screen is a bit blurry, Anaya, that is your connection. Okay, I sadly do have to say that. If you're on LinkedIn and you're seeing it blurry, I always suggest going to YouTube, because in YouTube you can control the quality. On LinkedIn you cannot control the quality, and LinkedIn serves you according to your internet. Okay, sadly. Right, or maybe refresh, sometimes it'll get better, but it should be crystal clear for everybody. Okay, cool. So what is a skill, right? First of all, to ask that, right? So I think there was a great question. Let's answer this quickly, right, so that we know the room. How are you using Claude today? Are you using the chat only, right? Are you using co-work, right? Projects, connectors, skills, plugins? What is your favorite feature? Like, what is the thing that makes you tick in Claude today that you use all the time? And you're like, oh, I use co-work, I use code, I use projects, I use connectors, I use skills, plugins, whatever. Put it on the chat. Put it on the chat so that we can kind of poll a little bit and see how is everybody using Claude, right? I think that's important, because a lot of people will learn from each other on the usage of different people. Okay, so put that in the chat. I'm starting to see maybe we're also live on YouTube. Okay, thank you, Anush, for that. Yes, so let us know how are you using Claude. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a skill. Okay. So a skill is a folder, actually, right? It's a basic folder. You can find them here. If you click plus skills, you have a bunch that I've created already. Okay. And we all have some native skills. You want to find native skills, you can come to skills, you can go to browse skills. Okay. And if you go to the Anthropic, right, you will find what we call Anthropic verified skills. Okay. So you have a bunch of them here. And they're quite good as well. And I really suggest you check them out. There's even more that you can find. Okay. And if anybody shares skills with you, they'll be here, or your organizational skills will be here. Okay. So in our case, you can't see much because we have them in plugins, actually. So we build these plugins. Plugins are folders of skills. Okay. So they are basically in a plugin, there's a bunch of skills. All right. So you could have single skills that are on their own, okay, or you can have plugins which are chunks of skills as little folders together. All right, it's very important to know, right? As you can see, we have a lot. We have for graphics. So if I go inside graphics, you'll see I have two skills. Is one for LinkedIn image. So all the images that you see from my LinkedIn post are created from Claude. So graphic creator, which are like charts, diagrams, and so on. And these are all on brand for us. Okay. And we have a bunch in this way. But what I'm going to build in a second is I'm going to build my favorite one. Okay. And I don't use it in here. I use it on Claude Code in my terminal. So it's going to be fresh for me as well. All right. So as you understand, you can find your skills there. Okay. And you can find your plugins here. Right. So plugins is, as you can see, is just a folder of skills. You can have agents, and you can also have connectors inside plugins. Okay, so you already define which connectors should be on these plugins. Okay, on these skills, like which connector should the skills use, basically. Okay, and you can have some commands. All right, so commands are like just / XYZ to do the job very rapidly. Cool. So, and you can see a little bit of description of whatever you've built, and you can find all those things here. So this is how we find all our skills. We just go to plugins, boom. We're like, oh, I wanted to work on sales, right? I'm going to do a draft outreach, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to prepare for a call, for a sales call, right? Things like that is automatically from here. Okay. So, one of the best things about Claude is the skill creator. So I am going to use that right away. Okay. And because this is the quick hack on how to build great skills, right? So if you come to skills, you will have the skill creator. By the way, you don't have to go there. You can also do / and you can write skill creator, and you can tab it, and I have skill creator. Also, another thing is, if I didn't put skill creator, but I have the skill available, if my prompt is clear enough, Claude will understand that I need that skill, that it needs that skill to do the job. This is an important fact, by the way, right? This is a very important fact, because this is what's the most important thing about, one of the most important thing about skills. It's that description, right? So that little description is what Claude has in his context to make that decision, to match your prompts, your request with whatever skill it has available. So these needs to be clear, right? They need to be clear. And you got to make sure that they're not very confusing, especially if you have a couple of skills that are similar. Okay, so I've had that problem. You have a couple of skills that are similar, and your team members create similar skills, and they put it on there, and you download it because you're like, oh, let me check this skill. And then you ask a request, and then Claude might choose the wrong skill. Right? Why would it choose the wrong skill? Because that description might be not specific enough to your request. Okay, so that's how you would iterate on your skills, is by making sure the description gets better, and that you kind of fire up, right? You trigger that skill for the right prompt. This is an important one. Okay, like this is one of the tips that you should keep with you on understanding what the description does in a skill. But let's build one so that we can kind of study the skill as we go along. Okay, so I'm going to build really my skill that I absolutely love. All right, and this is, I'm going to show you by hands before. Let me actually kind of switch to this view so you can see what I have in my hand. So this is actually, I created a demo sample because I didn't want to show you some sensitive information. So what you can see in this, and maybe you can't see it clearly. I'll read it out very quickly, but there is a date. There is a date. Then there is my areas. I have 3 areas. I have wealth, work, health, and relationships. Right, and then I have that one thing. The one thing for the week or the day. Right, this is a daily one. I have a weekly one as well. The daily one is ship the weekly reports report skill live on today's webinar. Right, and then I have what you'll see. Then I have my top 5 priorities for the day. Right, which here we go. I have my top five priorities with checkboxes. I have my agenda. I have my teammates. If I owe them anything on Slack, I owe them anything on Notion. If there are any emails that I need to respond to, I have some domains like sales, marketing, customers, lead generation, and so on. And I have some space in the bottom for some actual physical notes. And you'll be like, Tim, are you nuts? Why do you have that? We're in such a digital world that we're starting to get very, very busy, and we don't feel like we've done enough work, right? So here's even an example one. I won't let it go too in because this is actually from a real sales call. So I create these on sales calls, right? And when I have these on sales calls, what I do is I have it next to me. I got a pen and paper, and I take my notes, I check my boxes and so on. And when I'm done, I can just take a picture, upload it very quickly with my mobile, right? Or I can just dictate and say, oh, I did this, and these are the notes I've taken and stuff like that, right? I could do this digitally. You can do it digitally if you prefer it, but this really changed my life, right? Having it manually changed my life because I can really focus well. I have them on my desk at all times for the day, for the week. So I have the day, the week, and then if I have sales calls, I also have those sales calls prepped in there as well. So we're going to build that. We're going to build a daily card, okay? You can build whatever skill you want, by the way, right? And you can follow along, right? For the people who likes to follow along, think about a skill you want to build and just build it along with me, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prompt this very quickly, okay? Here we go. I love to dictate. I use Aqua Voice. My team uses Aqua Voice. Kubi here can tell you how much he loves Aqua Voice and how much it changed his life. If you want Aqua Voice, we should give a referral link, right? I do have a referral. I forget always to put referral links, right? Because we're not here to kind of promote these things. We're just here to share the same value that we get to you. But I do here and then remember sometimes, and I'm like, oh shit, I just give a referral link. So I dropped actually on LinkedIn a referral link. If you want Aqua Voice, try it out. You get some credits. I love Aqua Voice. Okay, so I'm going to dictate now. All right. So what I'm going to say is this: create a new skill called Daily Card using the skill creator. It takes my top 3 priorities, right? And you see, I'm making mistakes already because I can't see due to the, here we go. I couldn't see due to the screen streaming, but here we go. All right. So we'll continue, which is great. You can continue. It takes my top 3 priorities, today's calendar, and my follow-ups and turns them into a printable 1-page A4 daily card. Rules: exactly 1 page, minimal ink, no filled backgrounds, thin orange left borders, check boxes I can tick with a pen, logo top left, ask me what you need, show me skill.md before saving. Right? So, okay. So I'm not showing screen. Thank you very much for reminding me. It was very simple. I'm gonna show you that back again. Here we go. No, where are we? Here we go. The demo's here. That's why. So what I did is I just prompted. I prompted what you heard. I just put it in this box. Okay. I didn't even, as you can see, I didn't even pull the skill creator skill that I just showed earlier. Right. Big up to Nico for joining a bit late, but thank you for coming. Right. So what I did is I didn't go and use my skill creator skill, right? Because the description is more than enough, right, for it to understand, right, that it needs the skill creator. But I even said using the skill creator, right? So I'm making it even like almost like dummy proof, right? Idiot proof, dummy proof, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna go quick today. I'm not gonna go Opus 4.8. I would use a skill is very important, right? So because I'm going to keep using this, a skill for me is important. So I would use Opus 4.8 if I have the limits and so on. Fable 5, I think it's overkill for creating a skill, by the way, right? So I'm going to use Sonnet 5. It's quick. It's good just for now, okay? But if not, I would have used Opus 4.8, and I'll even go to medium so that we get faster results. Okay, so I'm going to send this out. While this is being sent out, in Cowork, what you're starting to see, which I really like, is on the right side we have your progress. Okay, so these are going to be tasks, a working folder if you were working in a folder from your computer. So the difference of Cowork, to remember, is that Cowork is actually a virtual machine, right? And it creates this virtual machine, and it starts creating this environment, this virtual environment to do the job. Okay, so use the skill. Where should the skill pull today's calendar and follow up from each time you run it? Okay, this is cool. You paste them in connected calendar task tools. Okay, I can go directly into connected calendar task tools because it knows my connectors. It's a PDF recommended. Yes, I want that. Do you have an AI operated logo file? I should use top left. Yes. I'll just say use text word mark for now. Okay. If not, you can upload your logo, of course, and use a clean default orange. These are our colors. So I've answered 4 questions, as you see. Okay. One thing to remember, you can always open up and understand what's happening. This can get a bit technical, but you can see it's very simple. It just ran a skill. It's the skill creator skill that it ran. You can see now your calendar connection connector is available. Where do your follow-ups live so I can pull them automatically, right? So I would say Gmail. Hopefully we're not going to get too much sensitive data. Shouldn't be, right? And your top 3 priorities, do you want to type those in each time, or should Claude suggest them from somewhere, right? So I would say suggest from Notion and Pipeline, right? So that I don't even have to do anything, right? This is the idea of this skill that I love. How I have it is that in the morning I wake up, I do / today, right? I do that on my laptop, on the other device, on Claude Code in the terminal. Same, by the way, same as Cowork. I do that. It goes through my Gmail. It goes through my Notion. It goes through my granola transcripts of my calls. It goes through our Notion deal pipeline, but also my task database. It goes through Slack to see, if Kubi, Anuj, anyone from my team asked something. It goes through a bunch of stuff that are connected. And then in about, I'd say 3 to 5 minutes, it takes time, like I just do that. I go make myself coffee. I come in and boom, I have my day prepared for me. And the day is the context is amazing because it is from my connectors. I have databases and places that it should run, right? It also does Gmail, as I mentioned. Okay, so as you can see, we just used the skill creator skill. Okay, so it launched the skill creator, and you can see also on the right side that we're starting to have different things like it's using the skill creator skill, right? It's working inside the working folder. It has a Python script, okay? And it's a generate underscore card, okay? And it's going to use that. And as you can see, boom, it even has a preview one PNG. It didn't really put any progress tasks here, but it would kind of do that as well, okay? As it ran the 3 commands, created a file, and read a file. So you can always open up the reasoning. This is a very important one. If you want to get smarter and better, thanks to AI, and it helped me get much smarter and run AI operator in such a small team. We're 3 people, 3 full-time people. A couple of other people helps here and there. But what's been great is that, I have I was just looking at it before our call just to see how many skills I have. I have 132 skills that runs my business, right? So this is big, okay? 132 skills, right? So here we go. So we open it up. We can see it. Oh, it's a terrible design. My design that I have here is much better, as you can see, right? But it's okay. Like, we don't care about the design. You can make the design better. I can show you how to make the design better. So draft skill is built, and I test ran the generator with sample data. 1 page confirm. Here's the skill.md, which we're going to see that in a second as well. Okay. It read the file, understood the file, and so on. And it gave me this preview right away. Okay. Actually, it's a bit, you see, it's a bit of a liar, right? It's a bit of a liar. So you have to be careful because it boom, it hallucinated right away, right? It said, here's the skill.md. It put it here, but it didn't give us the skill.md. All right. Actually, I can click on it and open it. It'll open in my Finder, but it didn't it didn't put it in here. I just put it in behind that, and it just read it for itself. That's fine. Read the file and then created this preview. It opened it as an artifact on the side, right? Remember that this is a little artifact on the side. Okay, very important. I can open it in preview. I can open it in Google Drive because I have my Google Workspace connected. I can show it in the folder in my computer. Remember, Claude Cowork works on your computer locally by running a virtual machine. All right, so this is an important one. This is why you don't have Cowork in the browser version. You have it on the Mac version, in the desktop version, in PC or in a Mac. Okay, so that's an important one. All right. So here we go. So what I want to do now is, like, let's say that I like this. Okay, I mean, I don't like the design, but you can kind of work with it. All right, and let's just say, great. Let's prepare that skill so that we can save it. All right, so I just said, great, let's prepare that skill so that we can save it. So now it's going to kind of give me, okay, let's save that skill option. You'll see it's gonna run a bash command, right? It's finding the skill itself. It's getting some responses, and it's going to do some technical work like that, bash commands and so on. Okay, this shouldn't take so much time because we've already done it. All right, the next one I'm going to build is going to be even more exciting because I haven't done it yet. We're going to do it together. Okay. And we're going to do it by showing, recording the skill, which I'm super excited. All right. So packaged and validated the clean. All right. So boom, here we go. All right. So what happened is that I got my skill. So I can save the skill, daily card, right? Actually, I can change it to today if I want it, but daily card is enough for today for you guys, right? It has, what you'll see, it's a folder. All right, so daily card is actually a folder. So if I open in my computer, it opens up as a folder. Inside this folder, inside the daily card folder, and this is very important, okay, because the skill name comes from the folder's name. All right, so the skill name comes from the name of the folder. Right? I want you to remember that, please. All right. So daily card is the name of the folder, and then inside it, you always have to have one file. Like that's your first file that you have to have if you want to have a skill, right? It's the skill.md. It's always in caps, okay, and it is skill.md, right? And it's a markdown file. Let me make this a little bit bigger. There's a great question from Tutu, but let's tackle that very quickly before we continue maybe then. What would be the difference between a skill and a prompt? Is it for the recurrent prompts? It's for recurring prompts, but much more than that, because as you can see, I can have a folder. So the skill.md is like your prompt, right? But it can have code inside to run. It could say about different files, right? It could refer to different files. So what happens suddenly is that from here, it says, all right, use this, right? So a skill packages your best prompts, the context, and desired output format into a structured file, which is the skill.md file. But from the skill.md file, you could have many more. By the way, I could have here in this same folder in daily card, I have already scripts. I have a skill.md file, okay? And inside scripts, I have generate card Py, right? So it's a Python script. It's a script, right? So if I open this, this is actually code, right? So it's running code, right? How would you prompt this each time, right? It would be a waste of time. You wouldn't know exactly what to prompt and so on. So you do it once so that you can repeat it. But you could also have a folder called references, right? And you could have a folder called assets. And inside those, you could have your logo. You could have a folder called templates, and you could have your templates, right? You can have whatever you want inside this folder, right? As long as in your skill.md file, you actually explain what is where and how to use it. It uses that folder, the daily card, right? That's the name of the folder. It reads the skill.md when you call it, and it says, all right, well, Tim wants his printable, right? So he wants his daily card. This is what I need to do. Here you go. I have to, the top 3 part, today's calendar, follow-ups, and I need to generate the PDF. Here is the JSON file matching the shape. And I have to run some scripts, and I have to run this script. So I will go run that script, right? So as you can see, what a prompt is just, you do a job, you ask, and done. So a skill is really becoming making a specialist run a process, run a system over and over again, right? So so also I could say, instead of explaining how to do a task each time, the agent remembers the skill. It reads the step-by-step standard operating procedure, the SOP, right, the process, and applies it consistently across runs. This is what's great. So if you keep using a prompt, and they used to call them mega prompts, right? And you're like, oh, but I wanted to also have some connectors, and I want to go gather data, and I wanted to have a template or 3 different templates, and to decide when to use which template, right? You are going to build a skill. You're not going to keep that in a prompt. It's that simple, right? Okay. Hopefully that answered that, Tutuba, right? Awesome. That was a great question. I love it. Get the questions coming, guys. Like, this is your webinar. This is how I can add value. You ask the questions, I answer them live on AI Operator, LinkedIn, YouTube channel, everywhere, right? So cool. So I have my skill. It's a text file. It's an SOP. It's a process that I explain on how to do this. And then I can refer to different things like scripts, references, assets, templates, whatever, right? You can imagine a lot of things. You can actually ask it. So one trick, by the way, before we continue to the next kind of section, is you can look at your chats, right? Look at your chat threads, right? Especially Tutuba, you're like, okay, I have lots of prompts, right? Look at your chat threads, which I have none here. I clean it up for you guys, and I don't use this space. Look at your chats and be like, oh, I keep using this chat. I keep using this prompt, right? And go at the end of it, right? Let's say that this was one of the chats I found, and oh, wow, I did my Friday report, or I did a client proposal, and I really loved it, right? Something like that. And you're like, wow, that was a really good thing that I did. At the end of it, you could just say skill creator, and you can say, turn this into a skill. Right? It will read the context of that chat thread. It will look at what you've done, the feedback you gave, how it did the work, what was its problems, its mistakes, and so on, right? And then it's going to turn all that work into a skill. And then each time now, you can just start a new chat, go / whatever that skill is, and run it, okay? Which is mind-blowing. So now that this is ready, as we understand our skill, finally, we can save it, right? By the way, what you'll see is that this is, again, an artifact that opens the folder just to show you. Okay, so I can close that. And I can say, all right, you know what? Save skill. And you can see here, it even create all this stuff and what's inside this working folder, where this thread is in a working folder because it's a co-work thread. Means it's a virtual machine that has access to all of these stuff, right? And nothing else, by the way, until you kind of state it and accept it. So if I click Save Skill, so now that skill is saved, I can click on Manage if you want, and I will find that skill today that I updated it, right? I created and updated it, and that's my daily card skill by me, right? And it's all here, right? And it can show that it has a skill.md file, of course, because it has to, right? That's the main file that it needs to have. And then it has a script for generating the card, right? Generating that kind of visual to make a PDF, by the way, right? Okay. So I can share this. I can say, oh, well, Kubi loves my daily card. And I say, Kubi, here you go. Here's my daily card, right? So if I share this with him, he's going to have access to this now. He can run it himself, right? Or I can even, everyone at AI Operator, if I say that, right? And I share everyone at AI Operator, right away, everybody in my company will have access to that, right? Okay. You can't share with external people, I believe, in a Teams plan. Okay. Just be careful. I think that you can't, because you can't do artifacts outside your workspace, right? So it should be the same. But what you can do is you can always download the skill, right? So I could download this skill. Can you download it here? No, but you could kind of, where I had saved, you should be able to kind of download it, or as you saw earlier as well, before I did this, you could kind of show in the folder, and I could find that and I can send it to you, right? I can send it to you, just regular kind of send, right? It's just a text document, and also some kind of code, right? And it's just a folder, right? So it's nothing too crazy, literally, right? Cool. So I've saved that. I have it available. So let's say that now it's it's Thursday morning, right? It's tomorrow morning, and I go in and I go / and I go daily card. So now if I run this, and I'll run it, and now it's actually going to get real data, right? It's going to use my Gmail. It's going to use my my calendar. It's going to use Notion. It's going to do all of that stuff. As you can see, it's added the tasks, right? Gather priorities, calendar follow-ups. All right, let's close this to make it a bit clean. Here you go. It's connected to my Google Calendar. It connected to my Gmail. It connected to my Notion, right? It's connected to all the connectors I already said to connect, right? Okay. And now it's searching all of that information to create that card, and it's going to create me a real card. Yeah. Done. You've built your skill. Congratulations. I'm leaving. No, I'm joking. We have one more thing, right? Because we have now the great thing about creating skills, which I'm super excited because I kind of tested it very quickly, but I didn't do much about it, right? So we're gonna do this together now. So let's do a new chat, okay? And what I need to do in this, though, you'll see why I'm gonna do this, because this is gonna record my whole screen. Haha, you're like, what? Right? So I'm gonna change the screen share now very quickly. All right. I'm gonna stop this and I'm gonna share a whole screen that I have, my window. I'm gonna show you my entire screen, which is my screen 2, because if I show you my screen 1, it's too big and it looks weird. So I'm showing you my screen 2. Okay. And what I've done is just I put my Claude in there, all right, and I'll just like keep it a bit smallish. Don't worry about it because you'll understand what I'm doing here. Oh, actually, let's make it big. It doesn't matter. You'll just understand that I might have to switch some of the images in a second, right? So it's watching my whole screen. You can see my whole screen on the top and so on, right? This is an important one to remember, right? And what I want to do is I'm going to prepare the work that I'm going to do. In this one, what I want to do is I want to analyze our latest newsletters. Okay, if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, I think this is a great time to drop our newsletter QR codes on the screen, if we can, please. Right, so I'm going to log into my, actually this is the wrong login, so nothing is going to happen, right? So let me log in so you can see the real work, behind the scenes. So I'm logging in to my newsletter. All right, so you can even see some numbers. I have 2,053 active subscribers. I've earned $11. I can quit my job, right? And I could just work on newsletters now, right? I don't think that I couldn't survive much with that, right? So if you're not signed up to my newsletter, to our newsletter, AI Operator Weekly, please do sign up. You have a QR code on the screen that you can scan live, right? And then you'll sign up. It's free. It's most Wednesdays. I say most because it's been 3-4 weeks I haven't sent it, but we're gonna send it in about an hour, 20 minutes. I think you're gonna receive it, and I'll do my best to stay consistent. I'm coming back on big time content. Okay. So let's say I'm here. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, this is where the thing gets very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Like, seriously, I know you're like, what? He's slow, but this is very interesting because I tried this and this is very cool, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on plus and I'm going to click on record the skill, right? And I'm going to say, all right, start recording. And as you can see, there's even a mic, okay? And I can talk about what I'm doing at the same time as it's watching the screen. I had to stop there a second. Like, this is ridiculous. Right? This is absolutely ridiculous, right? So don't type passwords or secrets or display sensitive information or private conversations while recording. Your screen, clicks, typing, and voice are recorded, then sent to Claude and turned into a repeatable skill, right? Which is wow, just wow, right? Could be put the link as well of weekly.aoperator.com. He's proud because he builds those pages, beautiful pages. So let's start recording, and I'm going to build a skill that looks at my newsletter analytics, all right, and looks at my different newsletters and posts and stuff, and I'll make it so that I run it like maybe every week or whatever, right? So that it kind of gives me some insights from past newsletters and how great they are, and so on, right? So let's also make the screen a bit bigger here so you guys can see it better now, right? Because this is really cool, right? So I have my Beehive open, which is where I do my newsletter, and then I opened a co-work and I clicked plus, the new button that we have, the new feature. This is just launched yesterday, so fresh out of the oven. All right, record a skill. I click on this. I have my mic. I can see it's working, my mic. So I'm going to start recording. Okay, so I'm now going to talk about this, what I'm doing. All right. Okay, you ready? Everybody ready? I mean, I'm kind of ready. Let's see. Hopefully, this is gonna work. Right? Start recording. Here I am on my Beehive newsletter. And what I want to do is I actually want to understand, first of all, from my dashboard, making sure I'm in my dashboard screen, where are my active subscribers? How many do I have? What's been my open rate? What's my click to open rates, my earnings of last 4 weeks? And also making sure that I check the last 7 days, being able to compare them. And what I want to also understand is, of course, my subscriber growth, but the last post performance of the last one, I want to understand as well. Very importantly, the subscriber acquisition sources. This is very important for me. Like, where is all these people coming from? Okay, so I want to understand my sources, my active subscribers, but also then what I want to do is I want to go on my newsletter on my restream just threw me out. Can you guys believe that? All right, we're back. That's good, right? Am I back? I hope I'm back. Restream just threw me out. I think it didn't like that I'm doing all this work, running all this in the background. This is crazy. This is the first time this is happening. Wow, just wow. Hopefully, it's not going to throw me out again. There's a bunch of me there. Hopefully, we can remove. All right, so hopefully, I'm back. Restream. I can't believe it just kicked me out. All right, well, we're back, anyways. Right. So I want to understand each topic. What I've covered, was it personal, were there some news, different things, analyzing very quickly the content, the insights of the content. And I want to do that for the past four newsletters. Okay, I want to do that for the past four newsletters, and then I want to have a dashboard, an insights dashboard. So you could use an artifact for that. Okay, and so I've done that, and I have this little button that has been going on, capturing 33 steps. All right, and I'm gonna click done. Right, so I've clicked done. As you can see, I'm back on my Claude. I'm back on my Claude. This was ridiculous, by the way. I can't believe that I just got kicked out. Can you guys hear me now? I hope so. Ha, 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I hope so. Right. Uh, yeah, I can't believe it just kicked me out, didn't it? It just my Chrome tab went error. Restream. Anuj, we should definitely tell them that that's ridiculous, right? Could you please tell support that that was ridiculous? Like, all the money we're paying for these streaming platforms, and it just kicked us out, right? So as you can see, I'll close this left again, right? What happened is that it recorded the demonstration, right? So wow, look at this. It recorded. I can see. Switch to Google Chrome. Clicked on this. Clicked. Scroll down. Right. It's kind of recorded everything that I did. Okay. And even when I actually messed up, as you can see, my thing went bad here. Look at that. This is ridiculous. Look. Oh, snap. And it just kicked me out completely. I was like, oh my God, where are the guys? Right. Where's this beautiful restream that we've been doing a webinar with our dear audience? Okay. All right. So as you can see, I can close that up, right? So it recorded everything that I've done. So I'll close it up. And it says, this looks like a demonstration recording of a workflow, checking Beehive newsletter stats, right? And then hopping into a live LinkedIn stream, which is the sad part of it, right? I could actually clean that up, right? The LinkedIn live part of Restream, and so it was just a mistake. Can you remove that and just keep it for, pull my Beehive weekly stats? Right? I'm sure it's kind of doing that. I don't see an explicit request in your message, so that's fine. But I just said it just to make sure that that you see that LinkedIn part, live part of Restream was just a mistake, right? So now what you've seen is it has the recording. What does that mean? That means that it has all that context in this chat, right? It has all that context in this chat, right? Which is awesome, right? So now I didn't even have to. One, use the skill creator. I didn't have to type anything, right? I just click record the skill and I did my job, right? I went and I looked, I analyzed my newsletter, how many subscribers I have, how many people I have, and also on, right? How awesome is that? Okay. So now it's creating the skill. It's created the skill actually. Okay. It's kind of ran the skill, right? I bet you ran the skill, create a skill without even saying again, right? With the context of this recorded demonstration, right? This is the awesome part, by the way. This is just wicked. Imagine you do your financial stuff with a spreadsheet and you have to do some formulas and every month you have to do something, you have to do invoices, whatever you imagine you can do on your computer, right? You can make it a skill now. How cool is that? How cool is that, right? Without even actually creating the skill or anything, just doing the job. Record the skill, do the job, right? Click record the skill, do the job, finish it off, and then save it and test it, right? We'll test it now, right? Drop the LinkedIn restream part entirely, which you can see. That's awesome. It's it kind of clean. Pull Tim's Beehive. It kind of created the skill. Does it have anything else in the skill? It has just a skill. Yeah, it's just a skill.md file. It didn't need any kind of scripts or anything like that. So now I will save that skill. So Beehive weekly stats, right? So now what I'll do is I'll start a new chat, okay? And I'll do Beehive weekly stats. And I'm not going to say anything else. And I'm just going to click on that, okay? So now what I expect, and hopefully it's going to happen in this window. If it happens somewhere else, I'll kind of see if I can bring that in here, right? And what it's going to do is going to run that skill. So it's supposed to now open up Beehive, right? It's going to use Clothing Chrome, which is one of my most favorite features, right? You can see using Clothing Chrome. Actually, it's opened it here. So let me pull that up here. Here we go, right? You can see that. It opened it. This is the blue little Chrome tab group, right? Is actually Claude doing the work, which is amazing. I love it, right? It said Beehive weekly stats. It opened that up, right? It opened this, and now let's see. All right, newsletters here we go. It already did that very quickly. Your last post is 5 hours old with another ranking 10th of your last 10 posts, but that's a small sample size. So I wouldn't read much into the ranking yet, okay? So it did do a few things, right? So let's say that you wanted to update your skill a little bit and say something like, well, I wanted this skill to also actually go into the last 4 posts that I've sent, right, as newsletters, the AR Operator weekly template, right, the regular one, and I wanted to analyze the content to be able to understand which type of content brought which type of click to open rate and subscribers, right? So can you update that skill, because it just did a very minimal job, right? So I said that feedback, right? I tried my skill once, okay, which is awesome, right? And I'm not very happy with my skill, right? I'm like, yeah, it's okay, it's not magic yet, right? I mean, it's magic because it uses Clothing Chrome. It opens it and checks the data and brings you the data, right? But now, as you can see, I can pull that deeper analysis right now. One thing first, I can't actually edit the skill file itself in this session, okay? That's a hard restriction here. That's funny, okay? You'd need to update it via settings, capabilities, or ask me there with skill creator. Okay, we can do that. What I can do, run the deeper analysis now. So let's get that deeper analysis, right? So as you can see, I opened that tab. It's actually going through all of this stuff, right? Okay. So it's going to go through each. It's going to take some time, all right? And updating the tasks. So you'll see here that is, here we go. It's updating pull last 4 hour per weekly post, analyze content and performance. And I'll show you a quick trick, right? Because it said that it doesn't want to do it here, which is very silly. And I can tell you why. Because remember, this is a virtual environment that it creates. It creates a virtual desktop, a virtual machine, as we call it. And it is bound to that environment. So it's bound to the environment right now that it has the browser tab, and it doesn't have a working folder, right? It has this skill, funny enough. So let's kind of hack our way. 1 second. Here we go. It opens, as you can see, it opened a separate newsletter. It opens the newsletter and then looked at the performance per newsletter, which is really cool, right? And as you can see, it's asking me, I'll allow it for this website, right? I'm allowing it to do more work on this website. Okay. I know that I'm being pushed to show you plugins, but plugins is very easy. It's just a set of skills. Okay, nothing major. Using Claude in Chrome, it's going to keep doing this. I should have not done 4. I should have just done 1. So maybe I'll just stop it for a quick, and I'm going to show you something. Let's see if I can bring in Skill Creator. Can you update Beehive weekly stats with the latest feedback that I gave you? Let's see if we can do this here. If we can't do it here, it's easy. We can ask it, give me a prompt to update that, right? And then we can take that prompt, we can go to a new chat, start a new thread with the skill creator, right? And then say, go update the skill, right? But I believe that it might do this. It's not even doing the skill, right? But you get my point, right? So if it doesn't do it in this, okay, what I would suggest is basically saying, hey, give me a prompt to update that skill so that it does the last 4 AR operator weekly posts and not just what we did first, right? And then it'll give you a prompt, take that prompt, copy it, go to a new chat and deliver that, okay? As we have 8 minutes left, I'm happy to answer questions in the meantime, but I also want to show you how we would, yes, turn this into a plugin, right? So let's see if we can turn this into a plugin here, right? Can we turn this into a plugin? So we have the Beehive weekly stats skill. I want to turn this into like a newsletter plugin so that there is the Claude in Chrome, there is the Beehive weekly stats as a skill, and maybe I'll create a monthly newsletter review skill and a bunch of other skills. But can we create a plugin? Right. So I'm aiming to see if we can create a plugin from here. Okay. Let's see if we can be a bit faster. The idea is a plugin, right? While this is doing it, to make sure that I'm not wasting our time, I'll show you something. So the idea of, let's go to our organization settings so that you guys can see the background of this, right? So what you saw earlier, okay, we have, oh, there we go, it's synced properly. Well, this is the Anthropic ones. Now let's go to ours, okay? So what a plugin is, right? Writing is a plugin, okay? And if I view files, as you can see, inside this, I have a bunch of skills, right? I have repurpose, social media hook, and you can see, right? Remember I said that every folder name is the name of the skill. So this is the name of the skill, it's the name of the folder, of the subfolder. And if I click in it, I have a skill.md file, and that's the skill.md file. And if I go again to another folder, it has a skill.md file. You can see each of them has a skill.md file. And the other things that you can have in a plugin is you could have a set of connectors. Let me see if I can find one that has a set of connectors. I think our Slack one has, just to be quick. Here we go, right? So, and it has commands as well, right? So this is a Slack plugin, right? That has, channel digest, draft announcement, find discussions, stand up, and summarize channel. These are commands, right? So this means that I can just go / summarize channel command, which will potentially use, as you can see, different set of skills. So it will use the Slack search channels tool, right? Which is a tool from the connector, right? And it will potentially use some other kind of skills to do the job. So the command is an overarching kind of prompt, right? As Tutuba was asking, a prompt. So a command could be a prompt, and it could use different skills. And actually, this could also use agents, by the way, right? So you can create agents, which we should leave it for another webinar because that would be another hour of work, right? But you can see here, I have a couple of skills. I have Slack messaging skill and Slack search skill. These are the 2 skills I have, but I have a bunch of commands, right? So these commands would use these skills to do this job, okay? And we have a Claude.md file here that explains, the Claude.md file explains this whole environment, right? There's a README file if you want to read it, right? And you want to understand what this whole thing does and so on. And this is basically a packaged plugin, right? And because this is a packaged plugin that has 11 files, it's now available to install. So I made it available to install. So my team members, right, can actually go into their own space in their Claude, and they can see, oh, well, we have a bunch of plugins, right? So somebody who works in video is going to go into the video one, right? And it's going to be like, oh, wow, amazing. We have, oh, look, I was saying about assets, remember? So we have some layouts, right? We have some logos, right? We have all our logos here. Imagine that. Look, we have all our logos. So that this plugin that has all these commands and these skills, and they can use these assets, right? So if I close everything off, you'll see a bit cleaner version. So what is a plugin? A plugin is a folder of folders, right? And inside this folder of folders, we can have assets, commands, skills. We can have a bunch of different stuff, right? I have 18 files in this one, as you can see, right? And because of that, right? So you can actually read this whole. It's the AO. Why AO? AI operator. Oh yeah, it should be AIO. We should, but anyways. So this is the README file that I know what this whole thing does, right? It can do long form edit, short form edit, create video. It can do all of this stuff. It uses the Descript MCP connector where we edit our videos, right? So hopefully we should have a new YouTube video coming up today, right? If Anush finishes it, hopefully, right? Or if not tomorrow, but I have a few more I'm recording. So it has this README. It has all of these assets and commands and skills. And now anybody in my company can pull up this plugin and use it, right? And imagine that we have it for our trainings, we have it for our Slack, for brand, for video, for graphics, for writing. We have it for a bunch of other stuff as well, right? And this is how you create these skills. You create a bunch of them in a kind of same what do you call it? Same kind of area of business, right? You put them in a plugin folder, and then you share it across your team. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, just to finish off here, is I had asked about the plugins, right? So it kind of came, what should we name this plugin, right? I would name it as AIO newsletter, which is perfect. Besides the updated Beehive weekly stat skills, what should ship in V1? Let's say just that. Anything else the plugin should cover? Subject line testing, sponsor tracking. Oh, I like that. Like, let's say all of this. This is awesome, right? All of this. All right, I just put that in there. All right. And now I bet you it's going to create a bunch of other skills, right, to do that work as well. So it's going to create one for subject line testing, one for sponsor tracking, one for growth source analysis, and it's going to create 4 or 5 different skills. It's going to put them inside a plugin folder called AIO newsletter, and then I'm going to test it a couple more times, and then when I'm happy and I'm like, wow, this is awesome, then I can allow my team to have access to it. I can share it with them. They can download it, they can install it, they can use it, right? And we hacked it very quickly because we have now recorded the skill, right? So which is awesome. So anything you can imagine, any work you do on your computer, right, can now be done, right? So what QR codes we have for the next event, maybe for newsletter, this was it. We built a skill ourselves with the skill creator. Yeah, that's the newsletter, the best place to be, actually. That should be our big CTA, right? Get on the newsletter. So we build the skill with the skill creator ourselves, and then we build one by record the skill, which is a new feature that was announced yesterday. And we clicked on that, we did the work, right? Wherever we are on that screen itself, it recorded everything, created a skill, and then we started to kind of package that skill into a plugin, and it asked us great questions. So what we did is we said, all right, well, create those other skills as well, so that that plugin is really an area of business and an area of work in my business, right, in my company. And then we created that plugin, which is going to have a bunch of skills. It's going to have some commands. It's going to have some connectors, right? Claude Chrome is like a tool, right? But I bet you I could get a Beehive as an MCP, a connector. So I could also put the Beehive connector so that you wouldn't even have to use the Claude Chrome, right? Okay. And in the near future, I could even add some agents into that folder, right? Which we should tackle that in another webinar. But follow the newsletter. You'll hear all about our webinars there, all about what we do, our guides, cheat sheets, and we share a bunch of stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I spoke for like an hour nonstop, and in 30 minutes I have a client call. So I'm gonna go see my kids, drink some water, and then I'm gonna do another hour live with a bunch of teams, right? So check out aioperator.com. Love you all. Leave you all. watch videos about the latest AI updates on my YouTube. And yes, sign up to the newsletter so you can get the latest and greatest information about what we do and how we do it and so on. And it's all free value for everybody. Thanks again, everybody, for coming. Hope you have an awesome Wednesday evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you are in the world. See you in the next one. Cheers.